right, guys, I just want you to close your eyes. Think back to 2024. The air is crisp. It's fall. Trump is leading in the polls. He's gonna get rid of all the illegal immigrants. He's gonna make America great again. We are so excited. There's unity. Probably smiling, huh? That was a great time in my life. You know, low gas prices and mass deportations, we were excited. Now, fast forward to a few days ago when a lot of us online saw this headline. MAGA allies say that Trump is going soft on deportations. Now, nothing, obviously, in politics is perfect. I don't know if anything in politics can be perfect at this point. That's just a lesson that we've all had to learn. And there were definitely a few hiccups in the road with Ice Barbie, Kristi Noem, her big booby husband, but I do feel like we could all use a little bit of a refresher on the people that the Democrats are bringing into our country. And apparently, this is the crazy thing that we learned this week, apparently, many of them want to have big boobies just like Brian Noem. And guess what? Per usual, we're paying for it. What aren't we paying for at this point? Now, before we dive into this episode, make sure that you like this video, subscribe to the channel if you've not already, and of course, ring that notification bell to stay up to date on everything we're doing here on The Brett Cooper Show. Now, on the off chance that I have a queer illegal immigrant watching this show, you know, if you are in need of wellness support, might I direct you to Boston, Massachusetts? Look no further than where you can get up to $500 to spend on yoga, meditation, a gym membership, or even creative healing for the trauma that you have endured as an LGBTQ migrant. And no, guys, I am not exaggerating or making a joke. That is literally something that is happening in Boston right now. And even though it is just so laughable and so absurd, this is just scratching the surface, because the bigger story this week in regards to immigration is about the California tax dollars that are being used to fund the sex changes, the big boobies, the big fake boobies, to California illegal immigrants. Look at this. California provides sex change procedures to homeless illegal aliens, as you can see right there. And yes, this is actually happening. This investigation was done by Chris Rufo and Jonathan Cho, hopefully I'm saying his name correctly, and they started at the largest homeless shelter in San Francisco, which has a $66 million service contract with the city. So people in San Francisco, in the Bay Area, that is $66 million of your money, your hard-earned money that they're taxing, whatever that tax rate is, 30%, whatever crazy thing it is in California, that is your money. Now, first of all, I think we all have to admit it is already insane that they are spending $66 million on homelessness in San Francisco and they cannot clean up California streets. It is insane, even more so, that Newsom has spent over $20 billion since coming into office in 2019, and the homelessness numbers have only increased. I mean, Gavin, you should have invested that money in Good Ranchers. At least California would be healthy. And my friends over at Good Ranchers partner with local ranchers and farmers to deliver 100% American meat straight to your door. It is pasture raised, it has no antibiotics, no added hormones, it's not chock full of soy, it is literally better than organic. It is the kind of quality that you can actually feel good about serving to the people around your table. And you will also feel good knowing that you are helping keep family farms in business while they continue to get elbowed out by foreign producers and factory farming every single day. So what better way to celebrate making it out of winter and into summer grilling season than with a Good Rancher subscription for your family? Plus, huge news, they just launched custom boxes, which is so fun. So now you can build your own box, your own subscription with the cuts that your family loves. Steaks for grilling, chicken nuggets for weeknight dinners, fish, the bratwurst, bacon, whatever you reach for most, you can add it to your custom box. So start your plan today. You will even get a free gift, free meat included with every order. And with my code BRETT at checkout, you will get $25 off your first order. So that is a free gift, free meat with every order, plus $25 off your first order with code BRETT at checkout when you start your plan today at goodranchers.com. Now, do not just stop with eating healthy though, because you need to reach out to my friends over at Jevity to really take your health to the next level. Now, something that is always so wild to me is that we spent so much time in school trying to learn how to solve for X or analyze a great novel, which is all good and well, but we missed out on so many practical skills like being able to understand what is actually going on in our bodies. Now, thankfully, it is not too late to learn. My friends over at Jevity offer the class that we all should have had, except it is built around your body. Through an easy at-home blood test where a phlebotomist literally comes to your home to do it, they test for over 100 biomarkers, and then they walk you through exactly what it all means. So then from there, you get a dedicated care team from Jevity that translates your results into a real plan that fits into your life. Supplements that are literally created and built around you, for you, not based on a TikTok trend, plus lifestyle, fitness, and nutrition advice that can take your body to the next level. It is like finally getting the owner's manual for your own body. So if you're ready to get started, head on over to gojevity.com/Brett Cooper, and code Brett will get you 20% off your membership. Again, that is gojevity, gojeviti.com/Brett Cooper. Use code Brett. Take back your health today. Anyway, back to the point, talking about health procedures that are far less healthy than anything you will do with Jevity. First of all, the money that they are spending in California is just insane. insane, but it is also insane that that money is literally going to illegal immigrants and their fake boobs. So listen to this. This is what Christopher Rufo uncovered. He writes, when most Californians think about homeless services, they imagine that their tax dollars, a lot of tax dollars, are going to support veterans, families, those who have fallen on hard times. So we've talked about this a lot on the show. Like, that is the normal, appropriate, politically correct perspective on homelessness. You know, we can't question it. We can't talk about the insanity, the mental health crisis, any of that. The ACLU has deemed that inappropriate. It's veterans. It's hard times. We just need to help these people pull themselves up by their bootstraps. Anybody who you see out on Skid Row on the street, they just need a helping hand. But we all know that that is not the reality. Anyway, he goes on and he says, but in San Francisco and honestly in any big city in the country, the reality is that some homeless shelters have apparently turned into havens for transgender identifying illegal aliens who can receive gender affirming care on taxpayers' dimes. Among the shelter's residents, he's talking about the largest one in San Francisco, again, that's the $66 million homeless shelter. Among their residents was a group of Hondurans who identified as transgender. During our visit to the shelter, whose executive director did not respond to a request for comment, we spoke with two Honduran men, Lisa, and Alondra, who identified as transgender women. Both indicated that the local government gave them shelter and food. And they move on to another individual who is wearing rouge on his cheeks and a low-cut red shirt. Jacqueline flaunted his large chest. Again, like how many titties do we have to talk about this week, honestly? He said that he had gotten transgender hormone treatments and confirmed that he had received breast implants from the state Medi-Cal program. Though Jacqueline claimed to be a legal resident, he suggested that the state also provides implants to illegal immigrants. Even though you're undocumented, he said, you can get them. Ah, excellent. Freedom of the Tatas. Come to America for free Tata. Like, that's where we've gotten as a country. 250 years after the founding fathers, this is where we are. Jacqueline goes on and says you have to have a process. The hormones go through therapy. Es un proceso. I don't know if I'm saying that correctly. I just wanted to throw in the accent, make it spicy. Anyway, here is Jacqueline.
What is your name again?
Jacqueline.
Yeah. Jacqueline.
This is the first time I live in a shelter.
Yeah. A lot of Latino here, so definitely some are migrants or undocumented.
I think. And me as a trans woman,
Yeah.
I feel safe.
Were you able to get the hormones or,
Yeah, I did that with my doctor.
So Medi-Cal, you got the breast implants?
Yes.
Wow, taxpayer funded. So here in California, they gave you the breast implant here.
Yes.
Free.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Yeah.
Do you feel like that's a good benefit for other migrants here in California?
Yeah, even though you're undocumented, you can get them.
Did you do bottom surgery?
I'm waiting for that one.
Wow, you're waiting for bottom surgery. Okay. Are you happy with the results?
Yes.
Yeah, my favorite part of the video is where he goes, so did Medi-Cal pay for this? Yes. I'm like, oh my God, stop lying. This is literally so insane. This feels like fraud to me. I'm sure that there is fraud that is involved in this. I don't think that $66 million is actually going to the homeless shelter. I'm sure it is going. I talked about this on James O'Keefe's show earlier this week with Savannah Hernandez, but the money in California, they spend, like in this situation, they spend millions and millions of dollars giving money to these homeless shelters who have contracts with them, and then it turns out that the homeless shelters are giving the people who live there, cup of ramen. Meanwhile, the person who runs the shelter, the executive director, is driving around in a Ferrari with a $7 million mansion. Like, it's just insane. And this right here with Laika and Alondra and Jacqueline is just like the cherry on top at this point. And honestly, I watched this video, I'm like, Jacqueline, honey, if you want a green card, big booby Brian Nome is handing out marriage proposals to women who look just like you. Might be worth a shot. Anyway, moving on from that, I do want to put on my tinfoil hat for a second. I actually don't feel like I need to even say tinfoil hat. This does not even feel like a conspiracy to me, but I don't think it's any coincidence that we are seeing a rise in these LGBTQ migrants who are needing, top surgery, because take a look at this headline that happened to go viral on X at the same time as this investigation. Legal advisors help migrants pose as gay to get asylum. Undercover BBC investigation finds. All right, so this story, again, it just came out a day ago. It is focused on the UK and the migrant crisis in Britain, but people like Cernovich on X and Coulter, they have been talking about this happening in the US for years. And in their words, the legal system is coaching these individuals to lie. If they're seeking asylum, they say, oh, you should just say that you're gay, that you're fleeing prosecution, and they will let you in. Like, for example, in Britain, they are saying that 70% of Pakistani students who are seeking asylum in the UK claim that they are LGBTQ fleeing prosecution. And that is how they get in the country. 70%. And that's just one nationality. That's insane. Now, the same thing is also happening in Ireland, for example. Watch this clip.
There's war in Nigeria?
No, it's a sexuality thing.
Sexuality.
Yeah.
Sorry, I don't understand.
Where I come from, if you are bisexual or homosexual, you get killed. So.
You're gay?
Yeah, you have to take off. Yes.
Okay. All paid for? All sorted by the government?
Government, yes.
Great government.
Oh, fantastic. This is the land of Tien and Og.
And have you got family at home?
Oh, yes, I do.
So what have you got at home?
And my wife and 2 kids, 2 sons.
His wife and 2 sons are back in Nigeria, but also, he is a gay man, and Ireland is now letting him not work, and they are paying for him to live in one of their cities. Got it. Makes complete and total sense. This is a system across the world that obviously works so well. We should definitely continue this. There's obviously no corruption whatsoever. I mean, guys, if this is happening in the UK, if it's happening in Ireland, imagine what is happening here. Mike Benz actually posted about this. He posted that BBC article and he said, I once went on a date with a woman who said that she came to Miami on a political asylum visa. It was a stable country, so I asked, was there really that much political repression there? She said no, but her lawyer told her to cite anti-LGBT laws and say that she was a lesbian. I mean, again, fraud on every single level. Like, at this point, we are basically living in Kamala Harris's dream world. Like, the migrants, they're coming over here, they're claiming they're LGBTQ, they're getting their sex changes after all. Like, don't worry, Mamala, we gotcha. It's so ridiculous. Now, on top of all of this, like I said in the introduction, Trump is now allegedly slowing and softening on mass deportations, and Republicans in Congress are trying to pass the Dignity Act, which really is no better. Now, if you don't know about this proposed legislation is being presented as a compromise. Like, this is the right and the left coming together. It is a bipartisan solution for this immigration crisis. They want the border secured, that's part of it, and they want all 17 million or more than 17 million illegals in this country to undergo background checks. And then, after their background checks, if they have determined that they are not, some murderer or rapist, they will be given a pathway to come back into this country temporarily for at least 7 years to start. If they get a job, keep a job, stay in school, and pay back their owed taxes, and they receive, this is my favorite part, honestly, one of the only things I like, if they receive no government assistance. Now, obviously, that could be better than just open borders, the alternative, but it seems like long-term, they don't want to just stop with these temporary returns, only 7 years, which by the way, seems like an eternity. Charlie Kirk actually posted about this bill when it was first being discussed last summer, and he said, Republican Maria Salazar just told you the entire game on her soft amnesty push. And that's what people are saying, like she's calling it the Dignity Act, but people are really saying this is just an amnesty bill. In this video that he posted, she says, at some point in the future, another legislator will write another law to give them a path to citizenship. Right now, what we need to do is buy peace for these people and allow them to stay. Charlie went on and said, it is all a total ruse that will grind mass deportations to a halt. Do not fall for it. I mean, it really is true. There is a Charlie Kirk tweet for everything. So essentially, based on Charlie's read, this amnesty bill, this Dignity Act, it is undermining what Trump voters gave a mandate on. It is buying illegal aliens more time until somebody else can come along and actually give them a pathway to citizenship, not actually have to deport them after all. And they're doing things that on the surface could seem good, like making sure that if you're here in the country illegally, you are not getting Medicaid, anything like that, which just should be the case from the jump. We don't need to do all of their background checks, bring them back into the country, even if they've been deported, and then do that. Like, could we just start it now as we're deporting? Like, it's just wild to me. Now, even though Trump ran on mass deportations, even though Stephen Miller has been salivating at the mouth for the last, year and a half, the Trump administration is not really vocally against this Dignity Act. It's being pushed by Democrats, but 10 Republicans have already voted yes. And then Stephen Miller actually went on Fox this week and sort of danced around the subject, as did Caroline Leavitt in some of her press conferences. Like, Stephen Miller went from deport them all I think about is deportations, this is my entire MO, to being on Fox News and saying, well, let's reframe the conversation. Let's think about this differently. It's not really amnesty, it's something else. It's building a better and brighter civilization. Trump wants the right kind of immigrants. It's like, dude, what changed from 6 months ago to now? Like, what has happened? Has there been some shift in policy that we have not been kept in the loop on? Do we need to bring back Ice baby Kristi Noem to whip everybody into shape? Because the new head of the DHS is on the news actually lamenting about how expensive it is to deport people. Just watch.
We want mass deportations, Mr. Secretary. That's what the American people voted for.
We want to deport all those individuals that came in illegally. Here's the catcher.
How much does it cost to deport an illegal alien?
$18,225 on average to go through the prosecution to deport individuals. Now, you think about it. Underneath the Biden administration, 20 million individuals came here illegally. If we go through the process on every single one of those, do the math on that at $18,225 per person.
Well, why does it cost that much?
Well, because of the way the laws are written and the way that they can claim asylum, the way that we have to provide the attorney for the individuals, the way that they clog up our judicial system, and then we have to pay. Yes, and then we have to pay to deport the individual at the same time.
And that's really my only response to watching that video. It's like, this is still what we voted for. And I would assume that letting those migrants just stay here and get fake boobies, get their sex changes, live here for decades and decades using Medicaid and all of our other social services, I'm guessing that in total, that would end up being more than $18,000 per individual. And also, if it's that expensive, then why was Kristi Noem spending $200 million on ICE commercials? I mean, granted, now she has been fired and demoted, but still, if we're worried about the budget and how much money we're spending, then stop doing that. And if it's so clogged and if it's so expensive, then let's focus on actually changing the system and making it smoother. And call me crazy, but with this proposed Dignity Act, I really don't think it's going to be cheaper to try to process background checks for tens of millions of migrants, process all of their applications. That's not really gonna make anything better. I think that might just end up being even more bloated and even more expensive. So what are we doing here? Yes, can we focus less on the Home Depot TikTok raids and the $200 million commercials and all? Can we focus more on self-deportations? Like somebody said, you're all making this way more difficult, prolonged, and expensive than it needs to be. Debank, defund, remove illegal aliens, TPS, and visa holders of every type from any and all welfare entitlements, food, housing, education, medical, and employment in the next 15 days, and most of them will self-deport. Another person said, funny how they never complain about the cost of wars, but deportations that are expensive. Yes, I mean, that is just a fact of life at this point. Just like it is a fact of life that every time Trump tries to do something, a random lesbian judge in Rhode Island will suddenly have the power to stop him. But hey, it is worth a shot. It's worth at least putting that proposal out there. And in regards to the Dignity Act, I can maybe, if I'm being generous, maybe I can appreciate the effort to compromise, to come together in some sort of bipartisan way. But in my opinion, all that this proposed Dignity Act will do is just extend and convolute the corruption and further bloat the system. It will allow all of this fraud, objective fraud, to continue like we're seeing in California. And it will, like Maria Salazar said, it will buy legislators time to go against everything that we voted for. It will give them 7 years. So no, I'm sorry, I'm not swayed. I'm not in favor of that. And I am not in favor of all of my friends in California who now have to pay so that Jacqueline can get a new pair of tits. I'm not falling for it.